Hello, talking high school football with Jason Andera. I am Tom Nieman. 5 o'clock Friday night on Midco Sports Network. Epic showdown in high school football, Jandy. Harrisburg at 4-0, taking on Sioux Falls Roosevelt at 3-1.
When we picked these games back in July, we never know exactly what we're going to get, but Harrisburg has gotten off to a great start, and of course, Roosevelt was the team everybody was talking about, and then they got the one loss. But between these two teams, just have one loss. Pretty big battle.
Roosevelt lost to O'Gorman, but yeah, the Riders at 3-1. Harrisburg has beaten Rapid City Central, Rapid City Stevens, Sioux Falls Washington, and Aberdeen Central. Decent teams, but not maybe we think the great teams this year. So this is the first, maybe the first big test for Harrisburg.
Yeah, you just look at how their schedule rolled out, and you can see that at the beginning that there's a chance to get used to 11 AAA with these first 4 games, and now it gets real. You got, Roosevelt, the Brandons, the O'Gormans, and Lincoln even, so coming up. So Harrisburg's going to really experience what it's like to play AAA football over this next month.
Yeah, we forget that the Tigers moved up this year. They were in AA. They're in 3A now, the biggest class in South Dakota. Harrisburg plays 2 quarterbacks. Why do they do this?
They do it because they feel like they have 2 of the most talented quarterbacks in the state. And the way they've been playing, I kind of agree with Brandon White, and it's really interesting. You've got Jack Tigan, who took over last year as a sophomore, got a little bit of experience, so he's got a year more experience than Jacob Knuth. He's a little bit maybe more athletic. He's got those things going for him, but then Knuth, you look at this guy, and he's your prototype, 6'4" quarterback sitting back in the pocket, making just gorgeous throws, and he looks like he could be the real deal going forward. But right now, they get such good things out of both of them, and Brandon White keeps saying, a 9-game season, you're going to get some bangs here and there. It's nice to have 2 guys that can get the job done, and he told me it's kind of a make-it-take-it system. So if you drive the team down the field, you have success, you get to take it for another possession. And right now, it's been about 50-50.
And they've been moving the football. Sioux Falls Roosevelt, the defense will be tested. The 2 big names for Sioux Falls Roosevelt defense, Kusler, Adam Kusler, Aaron Kusler, the twins. Are they going to play or not? Do we know?
Well, I don't have a definitive answer on that. Is usually how my injury talks go with coaches. Well, you never know. They don't really want to let on anything. But last week they both were out because of precautions. Same injury to their shoulders. These twins are alike in so many ways. But when they get back on the field, it definitely makes a difference for this Roosevelt defense.
All right, and as you said, after this game Friday against Harrisburg, or against Roosevelt, Harrisburg still has to go on and play Brandon Valley. They have to play Sioux Falls Lincoln. They still have to play Sioux Falls O'Gorman. And this is, if they can get by Roosevelt, what are we thinking about Harrisburg?
Then Harrisburg, even if they play close against those teams later in the schedule, I think you have to consider them as a potential Final Four team. Right now, in my mind, they're still in that 5 to 6, 7 group because they haven't really been tested yet. But if they can win 1 or 2 of those games, you have to start talking about them as a potential semifinalist. And right now, they're the only undefeated team in AAA. Just on another note here, Brandon White, we talked to him about just the week of practice, getting ready for a big game like this. And he talked about his key word is complacency. He does not want to see any complacency creep into this team.
We knew we had the ability to really put a stretch together, and obviously it's going to be a tough stretch here with the last 5 games on our schedule. But we like where we're at. Our big word of the week is not being complacent and understanding that we need to get better. We haven't played a complete game by any means yet, so that's a good thing for us, knowing that we have a lot of improvement to make, both offense, defense, and special teams. So we got to have a big week of practice. Hopefully, it's starting to cool down a little bit. I think a lot of places around the state are having cramping issues and those things. That's just the way it is. But you always want your best players out there at all times, and hopefully the weather cooperates and for a good week here.
All right, Harrisburg just trying to keep things rolling. They can get to 5-0 if they can win this game. But Sioux Falls Roosevelt, they feel like their offense has been a little too much up and down.
It is. They've got great receivers. Tyree Nave played the first couple weeks, has been out for a couple weeks. They're trying to get Joe Turry in there running. Last week, Turry really commanded that spot. 3 touchdowns, 189 yards, and they finally got things going. But overall, it's been a little bit up and down, and that's why when we talked to Kim Nelson, he talked about how erratic this offense can be.
We're kind of erratic, I think, at times on offense. We've made some big plays. We've got some big play guys. Feldkamp is a good receiver, a good runner. Mike Paulson, he took him to the house from 95 yards out. That was just a hitch route. We've got some athletes out there. Caden Jordan, Presley Johnson, other receivers can really go get the ball. They're good size. We've run the ball well. Brady's done a nice job of making decisions. Once he gets settled in, he's pretty good. He gets a little excited sometimes and wants to be perfect, which is a nice problem, but he's learning to relax a little bit. And really talented kid, hard-working kid. I think by the end of the season, he's going to be really one of the best players in South Dakota.
All right, Jandy, and one last note on Roosevelt head coach Kim Nelson. This could be the big one for him.
This could be, and he's downplaying this and has been for a while. And he intends to coach for several more years, so he's not really excited. But he's got 289 career victories, which is the same amount Steve Keeter has, who's the record holder in South Dakota for most career head coaching victories. So yeah, he has a chance to break the record that Steve Keeter's held, and of course coached against Keeter for so many years. Just a quick couple notes on Kim Nelson. He's coached in Rapid City, he's coached in Millbank, he's coached at Washington, he went to Edina for a few years and came back, and he's really been ahead of the system for several years with the quick offense, with the spread offense, and he's really become a master at coaching quarterbacks up, and he's had some really good ones through the years.
Yeah, that's right. When he got to Sioux Falls, Washington, that was kind of the expansion of all these high school teams, spreading it out and going to what most of them are running today.
He's done a lot of really cool things in the coaching circles, and he's got a lot of respect amongst his peers. So regardless how this comes out, congratulations to Kim, but he has a chance to become the all-time leader.
This is going to be awesome. 5 o'clock Friday, live on Midco Sports Network, Harrisburg, taking on Sioux Falls Roosevelt.